Lakes are incredible archives of past climate and environmental changes. Now, lakes can record changes to the climate system, and every single year when the lake deposits its sediment, it captures this information. Now, what we can do as a paleoscientist is use the information stored within these lake sediments and start looking at the individual puzzle pieces which are essentially locked within them. What we can do then is create statistical models to help reconstruct past climate changes through time. The lake that I work on is Dismere. Now, this is a lake in the town of Dis in Norfolk in the UK. We chose to use Dismere because it contains annually laminated lake sediments for most of the last 10,300 years. Now, this is really important because when we're reconstructing temperature, we can then get a temperature signal every year for the past 10,300 years. Extending the period that we look back into the past is really good because the current weather station data that we have only goes back a couple of hundred years. So having these longer records of climate really allows us to make better informed decisions for climate change within the future. Lake sediments and paleoclimate reconstructions can have completely different resolutions. For example, low resolution records, you may have 1,000 years of climate data stored within about 1 centimetre of sediment. High resolution record still have that 1 centimetre of sediment, you may only have 10 years of climate data. The resolution that I use for my data is an annual resolution, which is high resolution. This is because the lake is forming and depositing sediment at the bottom of its lake at a seasonal timescale. So you get a summer and a winter timescale. So these compress together and form one single annual layer. And we scan it using something like an X-ray, what is known as XRF. Now, XRF is a type of geochemical data which is collected from within the lake sediments that is responsive to climate. So I take this geochemical data and I input this into a type of statistical model known as Bayesian inference. Now, what this does is it reconstructs climate through time of every single layer of the sediment core to get a quantitative climate reconstruction. Geochemical signals recorded within the lake sediments are responding to different things which were happening within the past. For example, if something was warmer, we may have a signal of certain elements. And with this type of information produced by this model, we'll be able to use it to inform policies for the future. So the data that my model is producing has shown a clear temperature decrease around about 8,200 years before present by about 1 degree. So this was caused by large amounts of fresh water, which was stored in a massive lake, Lake Agassiz, in North America, and this was released into the North Atlantic Ocean, causing widespread cooling around the globe. This was caused by the melting of a large ice sheet about 11,000 years ago. This is really important for us because we're looking at both Greenland and Antarctica melt. I work with a number of different policymakers to try and integrate our research into their policy decisions. One of the most challenging things about being a scientist is actually communicating your research. The evidence produced about climate change by us as paleoscientists doesn't necessarily feed directly into policy decisions. However, what it can do is it can help contextualize the changes that we're seeing at present and help to show that really these climate changes are not normal. And if we don't start taking this seriously, everything that we're seeing right now is going to be exacerbated. Educating ourselves and informing us about the data, we can really start making a positive impact for the future. But we do need to act fast.